Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is for wherever you are in this beautiful country called the United States of America. It is Jeff Watson with you, and I believe I have my awesomely good friend, Mr. Brian Trippe, with me. Brian, are you there?
I'm here. How are you, Jeff?
I am far better than I deserve, and I am excited for the brief but powerful conversation that you and I are going to have. And I am grateful for all of the people who have taken time out of their very, very busy schedule to be online. I can see that I've got folks that I was even chatting with just yesterday about this webinar. So my friends like Danny Williams, he's on the line, and other friends are on, Chip and Alice and Ashley. Great to have you on here. And so let's get right to this. Brian, this is a culmination of several conversations that you and I have had that, believe it or not, all kind of go back to when I was there in Birmingham, Alabama, 3 weeks ago, right after I blew out my knee.
Yes, sir.
And I had come to Birmingham straight from Capitol Hill, working on behalf of something near and dear, or what should be near and dear to all real estate investors in the United States of America, and that is not just political engagement, but that is a specific piece of legislation that I want to talk about today. And then I want to talk about exactly what the people in Birmingham, Alabama, the people in Atlanta, Georgia, and the people in the Tampa, St. Pete area, and anybody else who's a real estate investor in any one of the United States of America should be concerned about. And I want to just share those things with you. But first off, let's just cover a couple of things from a background standpoint, okay? Brian, you and I were talking about this, and we have come to the conclusion that political engagement is an unpleasant necessity for real estate investors. Would you agree with me on that?
Absolutely. Definitely unpleasant for sure.
There's very few people who enjoy political engagement and political activity, but a lot of it is, once again, very similar to the stuff we use in real estate. It's all about relationships and clarity of communication and consistency and follow-up, and it's all those things that we use when we're working a deal and we're listening to people and we're trying to find a way to solve a problem.
That's right.
But what we've got here is we have had a situation in the United States of America going on now for, I'm going to say, the better part of 4 or 5 decades, where real estate investing has become a much more prevalent industry, but we have not had a seat at the table. And as you know, Brian, the axiom on this is, if you don't have a seat at the table when it comes to a political matter, then you are probably what's on the table being carved up, whether you know it or not. And that's what's been happening to us, and we've had some bad things come at us in the last 10 years in reaction to the economic meltdown that real estate investors did not cause, but severely hurt a lot of real estate investors. And so what I want to talk about today is something very specific, and it's a piece of legislation that is being aggressively pushed by some strong leadership. And I'm going to start out right now by just simply saying, I am grateful for the leadership from my friends like Eddie Speed, Glenn Lee, Bob Repass, Scott Campbell, and so many others, Troy Fullwood, organizations like Quest IRA and Equity Trust. These are entities and organizations and people that are committed to maintaining a voice on behalf of real estate investors in Washington, D.C., and in specific working on something called seller financing. And so I'm just going to walk everybody through a little bit of why we're talking today, this beautiful summer day. Brian, I realize it's raining where you are, but dude, it is a glorious sunny day where I am, and I'm enjoying the irony of that, because more often than not, you've got much better weather than I have, okay? And I'm just going to go ahead and pick on my friend Danny Williams, because I just saw him last night when I was in Atlanta last night. And Danny, I'm sure it's raining where you are, dude. And I got to tell you, it is beautiful, sunny, 82 degrees where I am. And but it was great hanging out with you and your wife last night, and learning the stuff we did. But anyhow, let's dig into this, folks. We've got a powerful resource available to you if you have access to the internet. If you've got access to the internet, I want you to go to this website, nationalrea.org, right here, nationalrea.org. And just to make it a little easier, I've got a little Word document here that I've tried to share a couple of times, and for some reason, GoToWebinar does not want me to share this out with you guys, but we'll figure this thing out. So I want you to go to nationalrea.org, okay, nationalrea, REIA.org. That is the website that we want to go to, and then we're going to, with just from the comfort of your home or office, from the comfort of your own home or office, Brian, we can't make it any easier than that, can we? And so I want you. Yeah, I don't think so either. So then from there, I need you to do the really hard, difficult task of come over here to this legislative button right here, okay? And I need you to click on that legislative button. All right. And then I've got one other thing you need to do. You need to come over here and you need to hit this button that says Visit Action Center. So you visit the Action Center. All right. And there is a tutorial on how to use voter voice. But then we're going to scroll down because we're dealing with something that has to do with everybody, not just in the state of Missouri. So we're going to come down here. We're going to click on this thing that says, please ask your congressman to co-sponsor H.R. 1360 on seller finance. And we're going to click that button right there. Okay? So I took you to a website, nationalrea.org, 3 clicks of your mouse, and bam, we're here. And now I've got what you on the screen is what we're talking about today, which is ask your congressman, ask your congressional representative to co-sponsor H.R. 1360 on seller finance. And so let's just talk about what we've got going on here, and then I'm going to go into the bill in a little bit of detail. And folks, we're going to wrap this up pretty quick, powerful, and simple. This is not going to take a lot of time. So if you think that you can wander away, get something to eat or drink, and come back and join the meat of the webinar, that's not the case. Do not wander away from your computer for the next 5 minutes, because this is where the meat of the matter is. H.R. 1360 was introduced in Congress. And this is the 3rd session of Congress. This bill has been introduced, and it is designed to enhance seller financing. And I will walk you through the bill. It's a very, very short bill. It's a very short bill. If you're of the type that you want to read it, you can Google it and read it. You know, you can just Google H.R. 1360 and read it, and a link will come up where you can go and take a look at it off of a congressional website, and bang, you can read it. It's about 3 pages long, and I'll cover what's in there. But what we're trying to do with H.R. 1360, it's a very laser-focused, very targeted, narrow adjustment to both Dodd-Frank and the SAFE Act. And what I describe it to members of Congress when I'm talking to them is we're literally taking and reaching in through Dodd-Frank down into the SAFE Act. We're grabbing a little number that says 3 or 5, and we're turning the dial to 24. We're going from 3 to 24. And then we're going to remove our hand out of the SAFE Act, out through Dodd-Frank, and not disturb anything else. And that's it. All we're looking to do is take the number of seller finance transactions from 3 a year to 24 a year. Now, is that a perfect solution for all the problems faced by members of the Seller Finance Coalition? No, it's not. But the leadership of the Seller Finance Coalition, men like Eddie Speed, Bob Repass, Scott Campbell, Glenn Lee, Troy Fullwood, and other strong leaders recognize and say, you know what, if we can just get it to where, on this attempt, if we can get it to where 85% of real estate investors can be back to where they were before Dodd-Frank and the SAFE Act, that's a good win. It doesn't help those men with all of their businesses, but it's still a good win, and they're willing to do that, okay? So here's what we're trying to do. I need you to do this. I need to make sure that you use one of your physical addresses, okay? One of the physical addresses. Now, I'm going to just pop around here a little bit, and I need folks to listen to me here because we're going to be in here. You're going to go ahead and enter your information right in here, okay? Right in these boxes. See where I'm clicking? Your first name, your last name, your email address, and then your home information. The street address of where you have a home in your representative's district, or where you have a home in the district of the 3 representatives we're targeting in particular at this point in time. I'm going to walk through those 3 districts in just a minute, but you're going to want to put in, you know, Is it Mr. or Mrs.? Is it Doctor? Is it, what is it? Your first name, your last name, your good email address. Do not give them some junk Hotmail email address that you give to every other spammer out there. No, I want you to use the email address that you get emails at, that you pay attention to. And then you need to put in your home address, and you need to put in your zip code. Now, this is really important information. You've got to be complete with this, because this will take you down to the granular level and make sure that you are in the right district and your email goes to the right member of Congress. Because as you know, in some districts, congressional lines are split, where on one side of the street you're in one district and on the other side of the street you're in another district. And so this will take you right down to that, okay? Now, if you want to get future information regarding Seller Finance Coalition, go ahead and leave this box checked. I'd like you to do that. Remember me, if you're going to come back to this and follow up on it, go ahead and leave that box checked. If you're on a shared computer, please uncheck it, okay? So it's whatever you want to do. Now, let's talk about the message that we're sending. I want to just bring this around in a different way. We've already got a pre-printed body of the message already in there, folks. We did this for you. So if you're a member of a REIA that's part of National REIA, man, it's already loaded for you. It's already loaded for you. But somebody say, oh, but Jeff, I'm not a member of a REIA that's part of National REIA. Relax. I got you covered. Brian, I got him covered, dude, okay? Is that all right? So I'm going to show you what we've got going on here. So we're just going to pop over to this little Word doc. And the first thing I want to do is I want to focus on this. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click on this link. Hopefully this will light up for me. And we'll go. Oh, it's not going to do that for me. I want to grab this link. Okay. And I'm going to pop up here. And we're just going to throw that in and hit go. All right. So, Brian, this is your congressional representative. She's representing the 7th District of Alabama. And this is a lady that we believe has a very good potential of coming on board. Now, for those of you that are saying, well, Jeff, where's the 7th District of Alabama? Please look at your screen, and you will see this map in the right-hand portion of your screen that shows the colored areas that represent the 7th District of Alabama. Notice how it goes all the way up in here to Birmingham and so on. So, Brian, does that look familiar, man?
It does. I'm wondering if it goes all the way into all of Birmingham, or maybe just some. I'm not savvy enough with it. You would probably know better than me.
Well, let's just take a peek here. We're going to pop it up one more time and just see if I can get this thing to go bigger. Apparently not. So that gives you the best I can give you, I think.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to go one more time.
Yeah, that's pretty much all. Yeah, that's probably half of Jefferson County right there.
Well, that's half of Jefferson County, and the thing of it is, you probably most of the members of your organization either live there or own at least one property in that district.
Yeah.
And use the address that is in that district when you go on Voter Voice and you do this, okay? So, folks, this is important, okay? Now, I'm going to go back to this Word doc because we've got a couple other key folks that we're targeting. All right, I want to talk to you about this one here. This is another guy we're looking at, okay? Control C, pop it up, minimize this, give me this, Control V, bang. We're talking now about Congressman David Scott representing the 13th District in the great state of Georgia. And folks, this is pretty simple. I was in his district yesterday afternoon because I was down here in College Park, okay? So if you are in the greater Atlanta area and you are a real estate investor, you can see his district. If you live south of Atlanta, this is him, okay? Now I'm going to provide you, everybody that asks, I'm going to provide you with links to these congressional districts so you can see it, but this is the, I believe this is the 13th in Alabama. This is Georgia 13th. Congressman David Scott, just like Congressman Sewell, is a target for our activities right now. And I'll explain why we're targeting these two particular and a third member of Congress, okay? So let me just Let me just go get that third member up, and we'll go from there. And that is, we're going to go to the authoritative source called Wikipedia, because Wikipedia actually did a better job than anything else for getting me this information. All right. So this is the Congressional 13th District in the state of Florida. It's currently represented by Democrat Charlie Crist. And for those of you that can't see this, let me just tell you, this is a map over here on the right-hand side. This is a map of the state of Florida. This is the little blip, and this is the much bigger thing. This is St. Pete, Florida. St. Pete, Florida, right here, folks. This is what we're looking at. I'm going to bring it over here, let the screen catch up, and let everybody focus in on this one. Charlie Crist is another gentleman that is another member of Congress that we have identified as being a potential co-sponsor of H.R. 1360. And you're saying, well, Jeff, it sounds like you're targeting Democrats. And the answer is absolutely. Absolutely, we're targeting these three Democrats, because we already have some Democrats on board as co-sponsors. We already have two Hispanic members of Congress from Texas who are Democrats. Smart men that care about their constituents. They're on board as co-sponsors, and we want to add a couple more Democratic co-sponsors in order to increase the bipartisan support of this bill, because the bipartisan support of this bill is what's going to make this bill move forward, because it's going to be something that in a contentious Congress, as we have seen, bipartisan bills have got a better chance of moving forward. We've already got two, but we'd like to have two more. And these are three of the people that we're going after, okay? And Brian, I'm picking with you, buddy, because you got Birmingham, man, and we think that we've got a really good chance with Congresswoman Sewell. So we're after it, okay? And folks in Birmingham, please do what Brian says to do on this thing. Get on this website and do this. It's with real simple clicks. Now somebody say, oh, but Jeff, remember, you told me that if I wasn't part of a REIA that was part of National REIA yet, if I hadn't yet done that, well, okay, I'll show you what to do. I got this. I got you covered. Let's come back over here. And so I've made a couple of changes. Here's the wording that we've changed. And I want to bring this up because this covers the three really important things about Dodd, about the Seller Finance Enhancement Act that you need to know. I told you it's a short bill. So as a member of a local real estate investors association, I'd like to share with you a little bit about our industry. As National REIA members, you can take National out if you have to there, we are supporting the Seller Finance Coalition. It is important to know that the Seller Finance Coalition has been working with Congressman Roger Williams, Republican of Texas, Henry Cuellar, Democrat of Texas, since the 113th Congress. That was 2 Congresses back, okay? To bring our members regulatory relief from Dodd-Frank's unintended consequences. We are excited to share that H.R. 1360, the Seller Finance Enhancement Act, has been introduced, and it should go to markup. By the way, folks, it should go to markup in June of 2018. The Seller Finance Enhancement Act will do 3 very specific things. It will amend the SAFE Act and Dodd-Frank to allow up to 2 seller finance transactions per month, or 24 in a year, without the need of the seller to be a licensed mortgaged loan originator. I am not a huge bank like Wells Fargo or Bank of America. Brian, I know you're a successful investor, but I don't think you're capitalized like Wells Fargo, are you?
I'm not.
So if you're selling your own home to somebody else, do you think you should have the same rules on you that Wells Fargo has on them for making a home loan? It's your own capital that you're putting at risk. Wells Fargo's putting shareholders and borrowed money at risk, you know? So I think different rules should apply. The second thing that the Seller Finance Enhancement does, from taking it from 3 deals under Dodd-Frank up to 24 in a year, the second thing it does is it requires that the Treasury study the low-value housing market over the next 3 years and report back to Congress for suggestions on steps to improve the sales and financing of these homes. Recently, I shared on Facebook a link to a CNN article about how Dodd-Frank has caused banks to abandon the loan origination business in the housing markets at $75,000 on down. This was CNN saying this. I mean, this wasn't Jeff Watson. This wasn't National REIA. This wasn't the Seller Finance Coalition. This wasn't Fox News. This wasn't, Heritage Foundation. This wasn't some other organization that might be perceived as being biased or right-wing or whatever. No, this was CNN, on the other side of the aisle going, hey, Dodd-Frank's doing this. Dodd-Frank is making it harder for people in low income, low house value neighborhoods, $75,000 on down, to get a home, to get a bank loan. Dodd-Frank's making it harder, and it's pushing those people to become renters, where they're paying more in rent than what they'd be paying in a house payment, and they're pushing people to be renters when we know from the National Association of Realtors that long-term home ownership causes homeowners to accumulate 24 more times wealth than long-term renters.
Wow.
So that's National Association of Realtors data. That's not my stuff. I didn't make that up. That's their stuff. You can go Google it, check them out. Okay. The last thing that HR 1360 does not do, and this is important, it does not remove any of the safeguards related to transactions of seller financing. Seller financiers must still comply with the ability to pay portions of Dodd-Frank, as well as the interest rate rules and the ban on balloon payments. We're not trying to get tricky financing where we're doing yo-yo deals and trying to trick people in and then yank the house away from them when they bobble it. No. No, 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 no. When Congressman Vicente Gonzalez came on board, he made it clear he wants to be on board this bill because this bill makes his people the owner of record, the title holder, owner of real estate that they're buying from someone else. That's what made him come on board, is when it was title would be vesting in the name of his constituents who are buying a home at those price ranges and paying another person rather than a bank for that home over time. Okay, so that's what's important here. I mean, I finished the letter by saying I want my buyers to be able to afford the homes I sell them. Because if they can't afford them, guess whose capital gets destroyed? Guess who's got the hassle of foreclosing? Guess who's got the hassle of evicting? Guess who's got the hassle of repairing the house and trying to resell it again? And I don't want that hassle. I want this house to be gone, and I want to be able to collect payments for the next 240, the next 360 months. That's what I want. And if you're a seller financer, that's probably what you want. Okay? So I'm going to wrap this thing. We're going to start bringing this thing to an end. This document's available. I've tried to share it through. I'm going to do it again in a different way. I got an idea here. Let's just try this. I'm going to copy this. All right, and then we're going to walk back through the steps on this thing one more time. And we're going to see how we can walk everybody through this one more time. And let me just figure this out. Bingo. All right, so the language that I'm suggesting that you put in your communication, I have now put as a message in GoToWebinar going to every attendee on the call. So I've given you what to say. If you're not a member of National REIA and you can't use the pre-printed stuff that's already in there, I've given you what to say. So folks, making this as clear and as simple as possible. So let's recap this, Brian, by going over this again. I'm going to start from the beginning on the National REIA homepage. So we're going to go back to National REIA's homepage. All right. Now, Brian, you remember how we did this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, first we came over here to Legislative and we clicked one time. And then we came over here to Visit Action Center and we clicked there. All right. And then we scrolled down and we came over here to please ask your congressman to co-sponsor HR 1360 on seller finance. And we clicked on the big type. And then, oh, by the way, here's this lovely tutorial on how to learn how to use voter voice. So folks, right there it is. If you've got any questions that I didn't cover in this, there's another recording right here. Okay, another recording right there. 3 clicks to get to the recording. And then here it is. Right here it is. This is please co-sponsor HR 1360 is the subject matter. It's going to a U.S. representative. Here's the body of the message. You can change it out if you need to based on what I've given you there. And then the most important thing, you can put your signature here, your name. And please, folks, use your full name. This is an important email. Take it seriously. Use your full name. And then come down here. The same thing here. Mr., Mrs., Doctor, whatever it is you want to use here. Your full first name, your full last name, a good email address, not one of your throwaways, and then your home, the address of the property in the district of the member that you're contacting. An address, an actual physical street address that you own in that district. Street address and the zip code. And then this is the real tricky part, Brian. They got to hit the send the message button. I think we've made it as simple as we can. What do you think, man?
Yeah, it looks pretty good. So it knows, the website knows, like if I'm in Atlanta, if I'm in Birmingham, if I'm in Tampa, it knows where to send which one.
Based upon the zip code, and if the zip code isn't enough, then it goes right off of your street address. For example, if you're in Austin, Texas, you could have one of 4 different members of Congress, and so based on your street address, it'll flip it out for you as to which one, as to who it goes to, and it does all of that work for you. And the other amazing thing about this voter voice, the National REIA invested heavily into, is that it is available to anybody that goes to National REIA's website. We don't lock it down. I mean, we care about other people being able to push this agenda. We're sharing that. But the other thing is we have got this through a very expensive and extensive technological relationship that we know these emails are delivered and read. We know these emails are delivered and read. And now I'm going to suggest to you, if you want to go one step further, then you do just this one thing. You take the name of your member of Congress and your district, and if you don't know what you can find out what district, what member you have, Google it, get the phone number for their office, call the office, and someone will answer the phone, a young staffer will answer the phone, and you can very politely say in about 28 seconds or less, "Hi, my name is so-and-so, and I live in the district, and I'm calling to ask Congressman so-and-so or Congresswoman so-and-so to co-sponsor H.R. 1360, the Seller Finance Enhancement Act. I appreciate you passing my message on to the Congressman. Have a great day. Thank you." That's it.
Yeah.
That staffer will be so happy to take a phone call like that. They will like, "Oh, finally somebody that knows what to do when they call us. Somebody who's polite, somebody who gets right to the point, somebody who understands how our office works, and somebody who's not going to keep me on the phone and berate me." Because all they're going to tell you is, "Thank you for calling. I'm going to pass your message on to the Congressman." And they will. They'll total it up. They're going to come back. They're going to go to the office director, the LD director, and go, "Hey, we've gotten 10 phone calls on this bill, H.R. 1360, Seller Finance Enhancement Act. What's going on with that?" And the guy is going to pull out his smartphone, or gal's going to pull out her smartphone, and they're going to log onto the one website that they all have, and they're going to click in, they're going to put in 1360, and they're going to pull it up, and they're going, "Oh, that's Roger Williams' bill. I know the legislative aide over at Roger's office. Let me give him a call and find out what's happening here." And that's how it will work, folks. I know that because I've been there 10 times, seen these calls come in, see how things happen, okay? Been on Capitol Hill multiple times doing this stuff. So with that being said, folks, this is what I need you to do. I need to take action. So let's just do this real quick. I'm going to do a real quick thing. I'm going to check, make sure we got any questions here. And then, yeah, it looks like we got a couple of questions. Okay. Do the recent revisions to Dodd-Frank not address this issue at all? Not one whit, Chuck. Good question. Nope, it did not give us the relief we were looking for. Okay. Good question, Chuck. It did not. Okay. Can you email the document to the web? I messaged it to everybody, Deanne. So thank you. We got it to everybody that way. But that's cool. If it still needs to go out by email, we'll do that. Okay, that was it. Boy, 2 really good questions. Everybody else got it. Brian, I think you and I did a good job delivering the information. What do you think?
I think you did a great job, Jeff. I've got a question though that maybe you can address, because I'm just trying to think from someone who may be thinking a little bit like me, where especially in a state like Alabama where it's typically red, and a lot of people may feel like their one vote when they do go vote isn't really heard. I've got a vote, but it probably doesn't mean a whole lot. For something like this, it doesn't. The way you're explaining it, Jeff, it doesn't seem like there needs to be thousands and thousands of people to make a difference. It sounds to me like 5, 10, 15, 20 calls could make a significant difference.
5, 10, 15 calls will make a significant difference, because they know that when there's not something going on in the national news media, and it's not some big crisis thing like the healthcare issue was. Okay, by the way, I was on Capitol Hill on the day of the healthcare vote, and I could tell you could cut the tension with a knife. But on days where there's nothing really being driven in the news media, and they get several phone calls on this, they now know, hey, this is something that's going on. This is something I need to pay attention to. I need to know more about what's happening here. This is when members of the district call their representative's office and they say, hey, I'm calling about HR 1360. I want you to co-sponsor HR 1360. It's a bipartisan bill that will make it easier for people to buy homes. Who's going to argue with that?
Yeah.
Who's going to be on the side of saying, no, I'm not in favor of bipartisanship? Who's going to be on the side of saying, no, I don't want it for easier to people to be able to buy homes? I'm perfect. Who's going to say, well, I really think the ability to pay doesn't matter? No one's going to say that. So yeah, Brian, you're exactly right. This matters. Your one vote in the ballot box, you may think it doesn't make any difference, but your phone call, your email, you get 2 or 3 other people to do it. You do this a couple of times. Man, that's powerful. That is powerful. I will tell a story, and then we'll wrap this thing up. I visited my local member of Congress's office one time, and I was asking him to co-sponsor a bill. He wasn't in. His legislative aide wasn't in. The chief of staff wasn't in. So I just hand wrote a note. I stood there for 3 minutes and hand wrote a note and signed it and put my address down at the bottom so he knew I was in the district. So here I was in his D.C. office from his district delivering a handwritten note asking him to co-sponsor a bill. 1 week later, he was on board the bill. Because one constituent cared enough to be in D.C. on that topic and stopped by his office and left a handwritten note. And that's the stuff that makes a difference, folks. Yeah. You can have an impact. So with that being said, if there's no other questions, I'm going to wrap this thing up and thank everybody for being on the call. It is terrific. I see that the attendance went up. Typical. We doubled the attendance throughout the call. I love it. Thank you so very much. I need 1 or 2 people to just message me and let me know that they ask me a question or do something in the chat box telling me that you got the handout I sent. Somebody let me know that. Either send me a question or message me in the chat box, making sure you got the message.
So guys, you can just copy and paste what Jeff was just saying in the chat box. Hit that copy, Control C.
Yep.
And then paste it somewhere, like in a Word document or something.
Yeah, that, or they can just pull it up and come right over here to the message body on the voter voice program and put it in, take out this and plop that in and let it rip.
There you go.
All right. So here's my friend Chuck says, got it and already copied it. Way to go, man. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate it. Okay, folks. Hey, I want to tell everyone that took time out of their schedule for this last half hour or so, thank you so very much. But more importantly, thank you for taking action on behalf of the real estate investing industry. Thank you for taking action on behalf of the real estate investing industry and giving us a greater voice because of the seat that we have well earned at the table. We have battled, we've gotten a seat at the table, and we want our voice to be heard. And so thank you so very much. And with that being said, Brian, peace. We're done for the day, all right?
Thanks, Jeff. We really do, here in Alabama specifically, we really do appreciate all that you've done for us just over the past few weeks and continue to do for us down here in Birmingham. So we look forward to having you back soon as well. So we're excited about everything that you've done for us. So thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure. And I am looking forward to being back down there probably when the weather cools off a little bit. All right.
We'll get you down here for a football game so you can see some real football.
Oh, dude, that I think the Buckeyes do a really good job playing football, man. All right. And we'll leave it at that, brother. Okay.
See you, Jeff. Thank you so much.
Yep. Bye-bye.